Hey guys, Chris again from ClassicVWBugs.com, and in this tip I want to talk to you about how to cure a small oil leak you might have coming from your pushrod tubes. Now, this is a 1964 Beetle that we just restored recently, and we also rebuilt the motor. And as we put the whole car back together, you know, a lot of times you have to buy aftermarket material to put the car back together. And of course we bought new pushrod tubes, new pushrod seals, gasket kits and all that. But again, this is aftermarket stuff. The quality of this stuff today is just not as good as it used to be. And even though we put this whole car back together and torqued the block down correctly, the heads down correctly, there's one pushrod tube that was still leaking a little bit, but I'm going to show you a small cure on how you can do that. I don't recommend doing this if all your pushrod tubes are leaking, or if they're rusty, or if you have some, you know, if any of them are bent, or you have some other holes in them. This is something that, you know, if you find a couple spots here or there that you can use to cure. But let's go take a look. Okay, so here we are. Here's underneath the motor. As you can see here, this motor is very clean. We painted up the heat boxes. We got all new pushrod tubes, rebuilt the heads, and you know, all new gasket kit on this motor. And I hate to pull the whole motor out just to fix one pushrod tube. And if you can see here, it's the one all the way in the back. There it is. That was the one that was leaking. And we put some solution on that, basically like a high temperature silicone gasket sealer. The item we used was called Honda Bond. It's not that cheap for the tube, but anything like this that you can probably pick up at AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts that can take high temperature silicone. I mean, as you can see, I mean, there's brand new seals in this motor and on the pushrod tubes. I just hate to take the whole motor out just to fix that. And in general, if you don't have the means to take the motor out, you'd hate to give it to somebody to do, because it's going to be costly. So, but what I had to do is I had to, you know, unbolt the tin here that covers the pushrod tubes, that's bolted to the heat box and bolted to the motor. Well, it's screwed in, really, not bolted. They have engine tin screws that hold that tin in, and we just pulled it down so we had access to that back tube. And that's what we did. We just put the Honda Bond on there, and this stuff has to cure for about, I don't know, a good 15-16 hours to really start to penetrate it and to really seal it. They tell you 60 minutes is probably hard to the touch, but full cure is about 15 to 16 hours. Now, they do make those spring-loaded pushrod tubes. I haven't heard many good things about them. Spring-loaded pushrod tubes are pretty, you know, you could take these tubes out, just take the valve covers off, pull the pushrods out, and then you can bend the tube and pull the tube out itself. And then you can replace that with a spring-loaded pushrod tube without actually removing the head from the block. It's a temporary fix. I don't recommend using it for a permanent fix. I mean, I have heard some stories that they have worked all the way, but you know, it all depends on your driving conditions and how often you're going to use the car. I just would go back to the stock piece. But so that's what we used. That back pushrod tube, that's what we sealed up. Just gunked it around where the pushrod seals into the head. As you can see here, before it was dripping on the heat box here. And what would happen is as I'm driving down the road, all that oil that's leaking is now splashing all over the heat box, and it makes it look like it's a lot more than it really is. So yeah, it's definitely something you're going to want to fix, and it's not something that's sightly. So definitely this is a quick fix that you can do. Again, I don't recommend doing it to all of the tubes. If all of your tubes are leaking, then you might have a problem, so you might want to pull the motor. So let me show you these products. Okay, so here's the stuff I was telling you about that you can use. This is Honda Bond. It's a high temperature silicone liquid gasket sealer. This stuff's pretty expensive. I got this to a friend of mine to try out. This is the stuff we actually did put on the pushrod tube itself to seal it. This has been working really well for us. And then I found this stuff on eBay, Curil T, which is a good engine case sealer. Pretty much, I guess, the same, similar stuff. This was about 25 bucks with the shipping. So found this up on eBay, and we haven't used this just yet, but this type of material would probably work just fine. But any type of high temperature silicone liquid or high temperature silicone that you can most likely get from AutoZone or Advanced Auto Parts or Napa, they should be able to have this type of material. So again, small oil leaks, you can possibly put this on your pushrod tubes and things like that to stop a leak. And in worst case scenario, if, like I said, if the leak is more, it's coming out, you know, more than it should be, or you have multiple tubes leaking, I would definitely pull the motor and check it out. Okay, got any questions? Email me, Chris at classicvwbugs.com, or visit my website, www.classicvwbugs.com.